All right, Fantasia Fest. We're coming close to the end, unfortunately. I think this is the 18th film that we've covered from that. And I think we have like three more. And unless we get any surprise emails, we sent out emails to a lot more films than this. And I didn't even get four of my top five most desired. So,
It's a bummer.
it's been successful, but it's been a bit of a disappointment in that regard. But regardless, let's talk about the Undertone. So, this is about a woman who lives with her mother. Her mother is dying, and she records a late night podcast. Her co host on the podcast has a story that he's found, and they're going to listen to some audio clips together from that. And those clips seem to play on her mind, and all hell breaks loose. So when it comes to horror is very effective in a few different regards, and probably the strongest of those is in sound. I think that visuals can be great, and of course there's wonderful horror visuals, and without them we wouldn't have a lot of great scenes in film for sure. But sound is probably more important when it comes to horror, for the most part. There's films that don't have amazing sound and are still good, but I do feel like if you can really nail sound in a movie, in a horror movie, then you got something going there. And that's really where this film excels, as it should, right? This is kind of the premise of the film, is its sound design, because we are dealing with a podcaster who's listening to something, and a lot of the movie is like her kind of sitting with headphones on and just like her expressions kind of listening in, and it's you, the audience, that are listening with her.
We're listening so hard.
Right, so the anticipation of like what's going to be in the podcast audio is a good amount of what this film is. Not to say there isn't any visuals.
There's definitely visuals.
There's some, but for the most part, this movie is all about its audio.
Yeah. I thought it had fantastic sound design, and I think the visuals are used really well. Like, overall, I think it's a really cohesive film in both of those aspects. I think, like, the visuals that are there really complement the audio that we're hearing. And I really like the story. I really like the setup. I thought that our lead actress is pretty fantastic in this. Yeah. I really was into her. And overall, I was really just very creeped out by this film. Like, when it ended, it felt like something I shouldn't have watched, because I think that the audio really emphasizes the evil that's happening. I don't know what it is. It's just done so scarily. But it really disturbed me, and I am someone who I think I'm a little bit I don't know, visuals can definitely get me, but really well done audio. I'm very sensitive to auditory things in general, so maybe that's why it also had a little bit more of an effect. I don't know. It was great though.
Sorry, I'm hover handing. Get over here. Shout out to anyone who knows what I'm talking about there. This is my arm on top of a couch, and then here's my arm on top of my wife. Is this like... Anyway. I mean, I know this girl who's our main character here from the show The Hardy Boys, which I watched with my kids in full, because, you got to look for things to watch when you have young kids, and that had Rowan Campbell in it from Halloween Ends as one of the Hardy Boys, and she was like one of the main characters in that. She is the main female character in that, so I think that this is a very, very strong horror film experience, and one that I definitely think should be watched late at night.
Yes. Dark
headphones
room.
on if you can, or a surround
Totally.
sound system.
Yeah, as minimal noise distraction as possible. If you can watch it in a dark, quiet room, I think you'll get really creeped out. And, this film also does something well that I would like to acknowledge, because I hate flashing lights normally. And there is a sequence towards the end, and even kind of throughout, there's a use of some flickering lights. And it is done really well, really effectively. I would say this is a great example of when that can be used properly, and it's not just a cheap trick, jump scare type of thing.
For disorientation.
For disorientation. It really plays well, and it's not as discombobulating as it normally is, I think.
Yeah. There's a film that we watched probably last year. I meant to look this up to get a title, and I didn't. But maybe you can come up with it. We watched this probably last year, and it's a very similar film. And it's a woman alone in her house listening to
I know what
audio.
you're talking about. She's doing a podcast even on it.
Yep. I'm totally blanking on the title, but that's what this reminds me of 100%.
Yeah.
And that was This Is Better.
This is better. This is a better horror film. That one is different premise in some ways, as far as where the story goes. But yeah, I think this one's a much stronger horror film, and this is probably my at least it's in the probably the second favorite of the horror, of the Fantasia horror that we've done. It might even be my top favorite. What was the other one?
Okay.
What was the other one that we really loved? Because I don't remember.
The Wailing.
Oh yeah, no, The Wailing's still number one, but this is definitely number two.
Okay.
As far as the scary movies go that we've watched.
Yeah, it's solid. It's very, very good, and definitely one that you need to be looking out for
sure.
you audio files out there that are obsessed with their sound mix and whatnot in horror. I think this one does it very well, and there's cool visuals. The entire film takes place in her house. Mm-hmm. It's her alone. There's another thing that we didn't mention here, and took too goddamn long to get to it. Is there's a lot of really good framing.
Really good
in
framing.
This, where there's a lot of darkness in the frame, so we're kind of focused on her, and we'll linger on those for minutes straight, almost like a stagnant shot, but from a distance, and there's a darkness over here.
It's creepy.
And she's in the background, and the darkness is kind of in the foreground, and your eyes are really just kind of searching all over that screen, looking in the darkness.
It's so
and
unsettling.
They do that in quite a few shots in this.
Yeah.
And there's some really good visual gags that are done in the house. And I don't want to say that there's nothing good visually going on here. I guess I'm just trying to say that that's done well, as in addition to it. But I think the audio is the hero here.
Yeah.
But the visuals aren't.
Those shots that you were describing, where it's part of the frame is dark, and those are so unsettling, because you do initially you're looking at her, you're looking at the area that's bathed in light, and then your brain and your mind is just there's something over there, especially when you're listening to what she's listening to.
Yeah.
And it's just so scary and creepy, and you're no, there's going to be something that pops out or whatever. And there's moments where she turns around and looks back to that area, so it feels really immersive in that sense, because as you said at the beginning, she's listening to something, but we're also listening to it.
Yeah.
And it felt like she's the stand-in for us in those scenes.
Yeah, she does a great job of emoting her fear, her intrigue, all of those kinds of emotions that she has. She tries to play it off that's not that. I will say, though, if I was her co-host, I would be very annoyed with her with how many times she wants to take a break and call it quits or whatever.
To be fair, she's going through something, so.
But hey, I did find it funny
co-host.
because The podcast, we pretty much hear it in its entirety, and it's not the whole film by any means. I want to say the podcast would be like 20 minutes long.
Oh my gosh, which there are short podcasts, but for the most part, I mean, people's podcasts go on
oh my god,
hours
and hours.
Hours.
I've listened to 8-10 hour podcasts before.
Yeah,
so.
people like the long podcast format, so it's kind of funny.
This one would be very short.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can also see that this film might be seen as anticlimactic as far as like answers go. You know, if you're looking for a clear-cut, definite ending that's easily wrapped up and has like a B, and C kind of plot to it, that's not this film. I don't want to make it seem like this is some art house, super ambiguous type of film. It's not. But, you know, I think in the end people will be like, well, that was it? Well, what happened?
Maybe some people. I feel like most of our audience will like this film, though. Like,
I agree.
You know, so I think, yeah.
You're
saying, right. Maybe some people will
I'm
feel
always
that
just
way,
trying
but...
to call kind of like
Yeah.
what the consensus is going to be online. And I can just kind of see people watching this thinking like, well, you know, not really a lot happens. And then in the end, like, we don't get any definite this or that.
Yeah,
so.
that's fair. Yeah,
Anyway.
You're probably right, but yeah, I think it's a big recommendation from us. So keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes out.
Can't believe I can't think of that title
I
of
know.
that movie.
I keep wanting to say something with... I keep wanting to say triangle, but I know that's not the movie, but for some reason...
Oh.
I thought it had like a try or a... I don't know,
Oh,
like
you
the
might be
triangle
right.
maybe, or...
You
Because I
might
thought
be
there was a
right.
symbol in it.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That she was like investigating.
Yeah, you might be right on that.
I don't
okay.
know.
We'll look it up. I'm sure one of you has already screamed it at the screen 15 times, and we'll get 15 comments of that title. I'll try to remember and put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's that. The Undertone. Check it out when it releases. We'll see you in the comments. Adios.
Bye.